In the last class, we have learned about the Newton's formula and the rules for constructing an image. So, in this class, we'll learn about the equivalent focal length, of two thin lenses separated by distance. So let us learn about this. So in your PUC second year, you might have learned the equivalent focal length of two thin lenses which are kept in contact. So there the equivalent focal length FE can be written as 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. So how did we do that? So if you have two thin lenses, let's suppose lens 1 L1 and lens L2. Now this is the principal axis that is passing through the center of two lens, and now if you have an object O here, then if you incident a ray, this ray gets refracted and falls here. So there is another lens here, so this ray again gets refracted from this lens and forms an image here. So for this combination of two lenses, you can write the focal length or the effective focal length as 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. So this is L1 and this is L2. So this is image distance. U is object distance, U is object distance, and V from here to here is the image distance, and this V is for I. So this is again an image distance. For this kind of combination, we wrote the effective focal length, and the power of this kind of lens will be what, or in general the power of lens will be 1 by focal length. So now you have 1 by Fe is equals to 1 by F1 plus 1 by F2. So if you write this in form of power will be what? P is equals to P1 plus P2. So P1 is the power of first lens and P2 is power of second lens. So now what will happen if you have n lenses? So if there are n lenses, then power will be algebraic sum of all the power of lenses P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus so on to Pn. So this is simple, and effective 1 by Fe also you can write as 1 by F1 plus 1 by F2 plus 1 by F3 so on to 1 by Fn. So this is we have learned in your earlier lectures or in your plus 2. So now in this lecture we are going to learn how the equivalent focal length of two lenses are measured if these two lenses are separated by finite distance and these two lenses are kept coaxially. Then what will happen to the equivalent focal length? So let us see the derivation as well as the ray diagram for that equivalent focal length of two thin lenses separated by some distance. So here again equivalent So for that you have to consider two lenses. So consider two thin lenses L1 and L2 with focal length f1 and f2 respectively. So basically you need to have two lenses L1 and L2 with their focal length as f1 and f2. So these two lenses are placed coaxially and are separated by distance r, d. So separation distance is d, it is not r. So now let us draw the diagram or the ray diagram. So what you have to have, you need to have the two thin lenses. So first let me keep only one lens, that is L1. So there is a principal axis that passes through the center of the lens L1. So let this be lens L1. So now A or MN be the principal axis. So now let me incident a parallaxial ray on the lens 1. Then what will happen? The incident ray after passing through the lens L1 gets refracted and forms an image. So this line after refraction falls here. Since this ray is parallel to the principal axis, the image that is formed after refraction from the L1 will be at the focal point. So the parallaxial or the parallel ray to the principal axis will meet at the focal point. So this is the converging ray or the convergent lens. So whatever the rays that falls on this lens, convergent lens, so these rays will get converged to one single point. Since this is parallel to the principal axis, so these rays will get converged at the focal point. Let this be F2 prime. So this is just a naming. So this point is the focal point for the lens 1. So this distance from here to here will be what? Focal length of lens L1. So let this be F1. Now if you measure the height of this ray, that will be what? H1. So this is for the single lens which is kept on the principal axis. So there is an incident ray which is parallel to the principal axis, and after refraction this ray falls at F2, and the distance from here to here is focal distance, that is denoted by F1. So now let us keep another lens, that is L2, which is kept coaxially to the L1. So this lens is L2 lens. So what is happening here? Here there is a ray that is parallel to the principal axis, and this ray gets refracted and falls to F2 point. Now this ray will be the incident ray for the second lens L2. So from this ray gets refracted and falls at a point F2. So let me call this point as P, this as A, this is B. And AB is the incident ray for the second lens L2, and this ray gets refracted and falls at point F2. So this height here will be H2. So F2 here is not a focal point for the second lens because this ray is not parallel to the principal axis. So if at all, if this ray would have been parallel to the principal axis, then this point would have been considered as a focal point for the second lens. Since this is not parallel, this is not a focal point, but this is some arbitrary point, so where all the rays converges. So this is not the parallel ray. Now let me extend this ray. So we are extending the parallel ray that we have incident on the lens L1 and the angle that is formed here. So the angle between incident ray and the refracted ray will give the angle of deviation. Let this be delta 1. So delta 1 is what? Delta 1 is the angle of deviation for the incident ray PA. So now if you extend this refracted ray, this ray falls here. That is at point A2. Now here, so this ray is incident for the second lens, AB is incident ray for the second lens. So there is another angle here, that is delta 2, that is again the deviation for the second lens. So this incident ray gets deviated from its path because of the presence of this lens. If this lens is absent, then this ray would have travelled straightly and have fallen at the point F2. Since there is a lens L2, this ray gets refracted and falls at F2. So this angle is delta 2, that is angle of deviation for the second lens L2. So since these two angles are opposite angles, I can write this angle as delta 2. So this extended ray is falling at the point A2. Now if you draw a line here, so if you observe, if this ray is PA, this is the incident ray. If this ray would have been kept or would have been fallen on this lens which is kept at A2, then image of this lens will be formed at F2. So if you remove these two lenses and keep the equivalent lens at a distance or at a point A2, then you will see or you will observe an image at F2. Since you have two lenses which are separated by distance D, so you feel there are two images. But actually the image is formed at F2 because if you see PA is incident on L1 and this ray gets refracted and falls on L2 and this ray again gets refracted and falls at F2. So these two lenses which are separated by distance D can be replaced with another lens which is kept at A2 and this lens produces an image. So if you observe, this lens produces image at F2. So now let us find what is the equivalent focal length for this lens. So before that, if you see here, there is another angle delta. So this is overall deviation for this incident ray. So this is the incident ray and this is a refracted ray. So this is the overall deviation. So with this, I can write delta is equals to So exterior angle will be what? Is equals to sum of interior angles. So delta will be equals to delta 1 plus delta 2. But we know in general deviation can be given as height divided by focal length. So h divided by f in general gives the deviation. So the distance from here to here is again h1. Why? If you see, this line is parallel to the principal axis. So this distance here is h1. The distance here will be again h1. So this point be h2. So the point or the point of intersection of these two lines is h2 and the distance here is h1. Now for delta or for the overall deviation, you can write h1 divided by f. So f, this is just f, this is not f1. So f is what? The focal length or the point at which this incident ray falls. So now delta 1 will be what? Delta 1 will be h1 divided by this f1. Now delta 2 will be what? h2 divided by f2. So f2 you cannot represent in this diagram because this ray is not parallel ray. So the f2 will be somewhere here, but this is not the focal point. So if at all, if this ray would have been parallel to the principal axis, then this ray would converge at the point f, that is focal point. So that distance will be f2. So now in this diagram, let us consider two similar triangles. So A L1 F2 and B L2 F2. So these two are similar triangles. So consider A L1 F2 prime and B L2 F2 prime. So with this, you can write A L1 divided by L1 F2 prime. A L1 divided by L1 F2 prime will be equals to what? B L2 divided by L2 F2 prime. So from the diagram, A L1 is h1. So B L2 is what? h2. Now L1 F2 prime. So this overall distance L1 F2 prime is what? f1. Now L2 F2 prime, L2 F2 prime. So we don't know this distance. So if you subtract D from F1, then you will get this distance. So this distance will be what? F1 minus D. So L2 F2 prime. L2 F2 prime will be what? F1 minus D. So you got one equation. So let us call this as equation number 1. And this be equation number 2. So you got h1 by f1 is equals to h2 divided by f1 minus d. So in this, let us write for h2. h2 will be what? h1 f1 minus d divided by. So this will be f1. So you have h2 now. So substituting this h2 value in equation 1. So you have h2 here. So you have written h2 in terms of h1. So substitute this h2 value in the equation 1. Let us call this as equation 3. In equation 1. So h1 divided by f will be equals to h H1 divided by F1 plus H2. H2 will be gets replaced with what? H1 F1 minus D divided by F1. So there is F2 term here. So write that as well. So you got one equation here. So in this equation H1 is common in all the three terms. So let us cancel. So what remains is 1 by F, which is equals to 1 by F1 plus F1 minus D divided by F1 F2. So if you rewrite this equation, 1 by F is equals to what? 1 by F1 plus F1 divided by F1 F2. So F1 F1 will get cancelled. What remains is 1 by F2 minus D divided by F1 F2. So this equation here is for equivalent focal length of two lenses when these are separated by distance D. So if these two lenses are not separated by distance D, then equivalent focal length will be what? F1 plus 1 by F1 plus 1 by F2. Since these two lenses are separated by finite distance D, so you can write the equivalent focal length as 1 by F1 plus 1 by F2 minus D divided by F1 F2. So now if you cross multiply, 1 divided by F is equals to, or if you take the LCM, F1 F2, so this term here will be F2, so there is no F1 here, so plus F1, so there are two terms, so minus D. So this F now can be written as, so F1 F2 divided by F1 plus F2 minus the separation distance. So you can also replace this term with delta. So you can write F1 F2 divided by delta. So because delta can be written as F1 plus F2 plus or F2 minus D. So delta here represents what? F1 plus F2 minus D. So delta is called the optical separation or optical interval between the two lenses. So you have what? You have delta. Delta is called the separation, optical separation or the optical interval. So this is effective focal length for the two lenses which are kept coaxially and are separated by distance D. So these two lenses are kept in an air medium and are separated by finite distance. So we know that power is equals to what? 1 by F. So from this we can write the overall power for the equation. So overall or the power of the combination of the two lenses can be written as, so you can write this with the help of this equation. So P is equals to P1 plus P2 minus D P1 P2. So the power for the combination of two lenses can be written as, so this is the effective power which is equals to P1 plus P2 minus separation distance D multiplied by P1 P2. So how did we write this? So here is the equation. So 1 by F is equals to 1 by F1 plus 1 by F2 minus D F1 F2. So 1 by F we know it is a power. So P is equals to P1 plus P2 minus D P1 P2. So now if you see here, so if the medium on either side of the lens is air and the medium between the two lenses is having the refractive index n. So here we have two different mediums. So medium on either side of the lens is air, and between these two lenses we have the medium which has got the refractive index n. So now what will happen? This incident ray will travel in an air medium and falls on the lens 2 by traveling the distance d by n and falls at f2. So this incident ray will forms an image at f2. So this medium here is again a air medium. So this ray will travel a length or will travel a distance of d by n. So if you substitute d is equals to d by n, then let us check what will happen to the equivalent focal length equation. So now what we are doing here is we are replacing d with d by n. Why we are doing this? Because the medium between the two lenses gets changed by the refractive index n. Now we have the equation 1 by f is equals to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2 minus d divided by f1 multiplied by f2. So this d will get replaced with d by n. So the effective focal length 1 by f is equals to 1 by f1 plus 1 divided by f2 minus d by n whole divided by f1 f2. Now if you take the LCM, 1 by f will be what? So f2 plus f1 minus d by n. So f will be what? F is equals to f1 f2 divided by f2 plus f1 minus d by n. So this we wrote it as, so f2 plus f1 minus d, we wrote it as delta. Since we have d by n here, let us write that as f1 f2 divided by delta prime. So delta prime is what? f1 plus f2 minus d by n. So this equation is valid when these two lenses are separated by a refractive index of the medium n, then the effective focal length will get changed by f1 multiplied by f2 divided by delta prime. So what we have done in this case, we just replaced d by n, and we have substituted this in the equation that we have got after deriving the equivalent focal length for the two lenses which are separated by the finite distance. So now we are just directly substituting d by n in this equation and observing what is the change in the focal length that occurs when you insert a medium of refractive index n between the two lenses. So this is the change that we have observed. So d will get divided by n. So the final equation is f is equals to f1 f2 divided by delta prime. So this is the diagram for the two thin lenses which are separated by a distance d and which are kept coaxially to each other. So you have to consider two thin lenses first of focal length f1 and f2. So as I said, you cannot represent f2 in this diagram since the ray is not parallel to the lens L2. So only the thing which are representing here is f1. So f2 is not represented here. So f1 we got because the ray which is passing through the lens L1 is being parallel to the principal axis MN. So whenever the rays which are parallel to the principal axis falls on the converging lens or the convex lens, the image will be formed at the focal point. So with that point in mind, we took this f2 prime as the focal point for the lens L1 and the distance from L1 to f2 is f1. So now after this refraction we kept another lens L2 and we saw what will be the refraction of this lens which is falling on the lens L2. So that refraction is F2. So BF2 is the refracted ray of the lens L2. So if this lens would not have been, then the image will be formed at F2. So if you produce this refracted ray, this refracted ray crosses the incident ray at a point A2, and this point, or at this point, if you keep the effective lens with the focal length which we have measured, then you can observe the image will be formed at F2. So for this lens, so the F will be what? F is equals to F1 F2 divided by F1 plus F2 minus D. So that is the effective focal length for the two thin lenses which are separated by distance D.